first month we were time reporting, we find out that someone spent like 100 hours on an email signature for a client,
100.
and yeah, 100 hours.
Whoa,
It
what
was
kind
like
of an
it was
email
like
signature was
it was like
that?
95 hours.
Man, it's like good enough. So you gotta be great, and I'ma do whatever it takes. Doing what I love in life, and I'll pay the price, and not stopping even if the shit kills me, even if it kills me.
Hi everyone, and welcome to MattGron Talks. This is episode 90, and my name is Mattias Gronborg, aka MattGron, and I'm the founder of the HubSpot agency iGoMoon, and here I share my scaling up journey, building this company from nothing to something. And with me, we also have my co-host Svea-Malina Landshoff, who make sure we stay on track.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my job here. I have the questions, and I try to find the red line through all our topics.
Yes.
Sometimes more successful than other times, but I'm trying my best. So, also everyone, welcome back to MattGron Talks, or welcome if you're new here. This is where entrepreneurship runs smack into reality, and we have different topics 3 times a week. Do you want to share what we're talking about?
Yes. So today, it's Friday, right? And but we have a framework we follow, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and every Monday I share stuff around my personal development journey, growing as a human being and as a leader. And on Wednesday, I talk more about what I'm learning in the entrepreneurial process, scaling up iGoMoon, and typically we talk about, tactics, execution, people, cash, and and Fridays
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Fridays, I like to call your diary, because you're kind of like summing up your week for all of us, and share how it actually looks like to be an entrepreneur and what is actually happening. And sometimes, huge things are happening, and sometimes nothing special. And I think that's what makes it interesting. And you also share with us your self-inventory that you do every week. And I'm out of focus, but that's no problem. We can get back in focus. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you share your weekly self-inventory. But what is happening?
It's like
we're back on the focus issue. I just restarted the camera. Now it looks good. I'm in focus. What I was about to say was that on Fridays, Mattias also shares with us his weekly self-inventory, where he shares what he could have done better, what he have learned, and also some victories of the week. So I would say, let's jump into Friday episode. And what do you have for us this week?
Yeah, it has been an interesting week. I think I shared last week or the week before, I was helping a customer on onboarding their team in HubSpot CRM, and this week I actually started onboarding. I'm kind of onboarding. I'm setting up iGoMoon's HubSpot CRM and tweaking it a little bit and improving stuff, because we actually upgraded our own HubSpot portal to an enterprise portal this summer, and I haven't really had time to do it yet. So that's one thing I'm working on right now, and also had a couple of meetings with some potential new hires, and I also had an onboarding session this week, culture onboarding, with some of the newcomers here at iGoMoon.
Okay.
So it was great. Every time I get amazed at how great discussions come out of these sessions when you talk about the culture code. And I really, moving over to what I could have done different or better, I realized that I should have come up with an ongoing format for talking more about iGoMoon's culture code during, like, maybe we could have like a topic for every month or something, where we kind of focusing on a couple of the value principles to more be able to get everyone on the same page where it actually means. I think it's super interesting talking about the value principles in the culture code because it's like a living organism. It's not set in a stone or something. It always just develop and growing and become even more living when you talk about it. So
I think that's a great idea because I think it's one thing if you have these principles, for example, written down and you hear them once or maybe twice a year, but if you discuss them, I think they kind of stay alive in a way, because you actually discuss them and people have maybe different perspectives on different topics. So I think that's a great idea that you said, that maybe have a monthly discussion about one of those and just, reviving them and figure out what it means to everyone.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, a really interesting discussion that came out of that onboarding session was actually how we could focus more on value and quality for our customers. And in that moment we also started a discussion that often happens here at iGoMoon, and I think it's kind of common for every service business out there who actually kind of selling their time, because you're billing hours for your customers, and I think what's really interesting here is that I think the discussion sometimes takes off in the wrong direction because we talk about we are focusing too much on the hours, and I mean hours is just a metric. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a SaaS business, you are focusing on the licenses. You need to sell. I mean, every business have a business model, and somewhere you need to follow up on these numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember so we've been in business now for 9 years almost, 9 years, almost 10 in 10 months or something. But what's really interesting is, I mean, the first 2-3 during the first 2-3 years, we were actually never time reporting anything, and I still remember the first month when we actually started, time reporting, how much time we spent on projects, because we were just working, what should you say, value based, fixed price. But the thing is that, I mean, I think we started in the in the wrong end, or what do you say, because we had the fixed price solutions, but we didn't know, we was not really clear how long, how much time it will take,
dangerous.
Work in the process. So we had a lot of different projects going on, and the first month we were time reporting. We find out that someone spent 100 hours on an email signature for a client, and 100 hours.
Whoa, what kind of an email signature was that?
It was 95 hours. Yeah, but the thing, it was and this company, they were not super techy, so they also needed I mean, we did a super easy design, but the thing was that and this client was sitting on the other side of the city, it was in 45 minutes commuting time to this client and to this customer. And so this person went there a couple of times, also traveling, and it was something didn't really, the email signature never look the same at their computer as it did on our computers. We were like, but it's just such a good story how kind of clueless we were back then, but we learned, and we started to time report, and I mean, today we are counting hours, we are selling hours, but we also have made a transition over to deliver some of our solutions on a value-based pricing model, which means there is a result-driven focus instead of counting hours. And if you can define the scope, which is possible with almost nearly every agency service we are delivering, I would say then you can start standardize, having a process, how to deliver this, and then you can, really assign and set a fixed price for that. So I mean, today we are doing both. For some services we are working on an hourly basis, and on our like fixed packaged solutions we work on a value-based model. So my point here is that to be able to deliver like value-based, you must have an understanding of how much time you spend in the process, and
absolutely,
and really be able to communicate like the value the customer get. And here where I think it becomes interesting, because to be able to deliver value, you need to be asking the right questions.
Figure out what they want.
The more I know about what drives you, Svea, the easier it is for me to create value in your life.
Makes sense.
And actually the same principles apply both in personal relationships as in business. And let me put it this way. So if I'm like very creative and I'm curious about your business or your personal life, and I'm asking questions and how do you perceive me then? Like
engaged, I would say, as if you're trying to work with me, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And like can you see how creativity is like, it's an attitude, it's a behavior. And I think this is so super important to communicate and talk about internally, because our culture code actually says, like if you look under Brave, and our culture code says there's like a block with being customer centric, and there it says, I dare to pitch creative ideas to the customer. And so it's an attitude, it's like a behavior, and over the years when I have got feedback from our customers, they sometimes say that I think your team is a bit quiet during the meeting. And I'm sure they think a lot more or say a lot more on the train on their way back to the office. I want them to actually say what they think, even if their ideas is just crazy. So again, as you said, like every relationship, creativity comes from being engaged and from there you can actually inspire the customer.
Yeah, and being curious, I think, because
Yes.
I was just like putting myself into a situation, like I'm a customer of you guys and I want a website, and I have a couple of people there who are working with me, and they may be listening to what I want and I explain what I want, but they don't engage with me. Yeah, I wouldn't have the impression that they are, like you said, creative or very like invested into the to the process. And I would also rather appreciate it if they would just spit it out, just say what they think, because also in that process, I think everyone can contribute, and from a crazy idea or whatever, I think you can maybe find another way to maybe a little bit more like realizable idea, not that crazy, but it's hard to put it into words, but I just thought about it, and I think that's a good idea to just communicate to each other in meetings like this. And I think you just inspired me to do that more, actually, because I'm also more a person who like listens, really wants to understand someone, but maybe it's even better to just, have the courage to already in that process bring yourself in a little bit more and show that you're creative, because I think curiosity, engagement, that all kind of reflects creativity as well, in my opinion.
Yes, and I mean, if you have that attitude and the customer feel that you are actually engaged, you're asking questions, you are trying to figure out like how can you contribute in this relationship.
Yeah.
When they feel that spark, that commitment from your side, then you have a much better opportunity to actually say, okay, this is the idea, and I think I estimated that this is the cost.
Yeah.
If you want to invest in it. So my point is it like, I think it's not that we are talking too much about the numbers. I say numbers instead of hours because you still need to count something, right?
Yeah.
To evaluate if it's profitable or not. I don't think we talk too much about it, but I think we often are talking. We talk too little about the creativity.
Yeah.
Like how we could be more creative, and that's an attitude, and it's almost like yin and yang. Like we need both.
Yeah, they need to coexist, definitely.
Like, it's not okay, we are talking too much about the numbers. Yeah. Stop doing that. Like, let's do this. So we need both, and I also I have learned over the years, it's also important to understand, is it really the numbers we are talking about, or the hours that is stressful, or because it's stressful being accountable on the targets.
Yes.
Like on the targets we need to reach every month. We're a small company. Like the only, like, as all growing companies, cash flow is everything if you want to scale up and grow. When we are growing organically, so it's super important for us to have a laser focus on the metrics.
Yeah.
So it's just another part of it. Like, is it the numbers, or is it stressful to actually be followed up on numbers, and in that way I have learned over the years that people could have like performance anxiety, like if you really look starting to realize, okay, it's not really the hours, it's the anxiety to perform, so it's super important. This is where leadership comes in, because if you are a like very performance-driven organization, and like let's say 5 people, they are doing awesome, and then we have 5 people here, they are not doing awesome, then you must be there as a leader and really communicate like, okay, you don't have as much hours towards customers right now. You're not as billable as these guys, but then we have super important things to work on here, like create around creativity. It's a hard word, I can almost say.
Creativity, yeah.
So yeah, you must communicate and get a long-term focus around and balance the numbers, the hours, or whatever your business model is. Whatever is running your business model, and then you need the right attitudes and behaviors connected to that. Yin and yang. That was my point. It was a long topic today. I think somewhere there I had a point.
I get it. So that was interesting. I think also the last part that you said with, is it really like the hours that are the problem, or the numbers, or is it the anxiety of it? I think that's a really good point. I never thought about it this way, but I think I could even have see myself as a person like this, who's maybe numb by numbers I have to reach, and oh my god, how am I supposed to reach this? And then you said, you just need someone who navigates you, maybe, if you have a problem with this. If you just look at numbers oh, I have to do, I don't know, 60 hours this week, how do I do this? And then I think it's so valuable to have someone say, hey, let's look at this together, let's figure out how we do this. And this, I think this is my key takeaway from what you said there. I think that's super important. And I wish more people would do that and not just ignore you, but they come to you, or listen to you if you come to them, and just help you out there. Because I think it's I'm sure you have goals that are reachable, but you just need to find individual ways to reach them.
I think, you must love the grind and really want to be in that entrepreneurial environment where you're kind of, as a team, you're trying to reach a goal, and of course sometimes it's not fun to not reach a goal, but that's a part of the game, it's not if you fail, that's not that's normal. We always fail, but we rise ourselves up. Do you say that?
You pick yourself up. You
pick yourself up, at the end of the week, my example I gave you, when we were never really time tracking or doing anything like that. If I worked at that company, our back in the days, iGoMoon, then I would be really stressful as an employee.
I guess so. Yeah, absolutely.
Working for a company that obviously don't even know if they have spent 2 hours or 100 hours on an email signature.
That's crazy.
So that would in one way be even more stressful. So
I agree with you there.
So again, this is so this is my work. As the entrepreneur and the leader and the CEO, to communicate this and create that feeling, so people can get out there and have the right attitude and behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right.
Yeah.
I think that's it for today, right? There was a big
actually,
chunk to swallow.
That was just my thoughts about what I could have done differently. But as usual, when I share it, sometimes it's not just what I could have done different during this week. It could also be in a bigger time frame. But I just short. I just want to say that because I also have a headline what I learned this week, and I think this week I was really proud of myself. I trusted my instinct in an interview, and said no, even if everything looked good on paper. So, you know, it's so easy sometimes if you interview someone for a role and like not, how should I say, like to say something like, okay, let's follow up next week then, and then we can think about it. But I mean, I felt that okay, this is not right. So I communicated that in the meeting, and I was transparent and said like, okay, let's talk next week instead, and then we can see if there is like another role that might be better in the future. But this is the role we are looking for now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was also like a really good week. I really feel that we have working super hard this year, and it's almost like we over and over, because of a lot of reasons we talked about them during the kickoff. We have had a lot of like sick leave, and there's been a lot of challenges. So we kind of been coming in a little bit short every week and every month. But yeah, like this week we really killed the goal. So that's super fun. Really good work from the entire team.
Yeah, kudos to everyone.
Yeah, kudos to everyone. Okay, so should we wrap up?
Let's wrap up this episode before it gets out of hand. But yeah, interesting topic. And
yellow Friday
I was about to say, you
glasses.
have your Friday mode on now. You're ready to start off to the weekend, and I hope you too. And thank you for watching. And yeah, if you're new here and haven't already, maybe you want to subscribe and see what we are doing next episode so you don't miss anything. Like Mattias likes to say, hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
And yeah, otherwise, have a great weekend and see you on Monday.
Yes, that sounds great. Okay, see you next one.
Bye bye.
I always talking when you talk. So yeah.
Okay, want to say bye, Mattias? This is still in the episode.
Bye-bye. Bye.